Pastor Joey Ratcliffe. You love him, don't you? Yeah. Pastor Davis. I understand. Was that good or what? Thank you so much for just keeping quiet and a little roast there. Like I like my coffee. What a privilege tonight to be in the house of God. Amen. Isn't it wonderful to be a part of the church? Yes. Praise God. Amen. God help us to be a part of the church. Help us to be learning and loving, worshiping, reaching. And when we're that kind of church, it's no wonder that you hear the stories God's adding. Amen. The Lord is adding. Daily, He's just plucking them out of the burning. He's plucking them in and He's sitting them right in here. No accident you bumped into them at Walmart. It's no accident you saw them at the gas station. It was no accident. No. You're just learning and you're loving and you're worshiping and you're willing to reach out and God's drawing, redeeming. It's wonderful. Be a part of the church. I remind little congregations that I go to. Now, Pastor Fry told me that I have till 7 o'clock and I can just ramble. That's pretty much what he said. He said you can just ramble. They're used to that. and Dr. Fry, I'm sure rambles a lot with little substance. What is it? You shouldn't just be that smart, should you? Just shouldn't be so. But anyhow, he did say I could just talk. He said I could do that. So I've got 3 sermons, and I've got my Bible marked with 2 different texts. One sermon don't need the Bible, but I'll stick with the 2 that do, okay? Tonight, some thoughts. But I just, I don't know what I was going to say, but I do know this, that tonight when I have been offered many handkerchiefs tonight, and I brought my own, and some of the handkerchiefs that I was offered, by all appearances, I'm very grateful I brought my own. One guy really brought me one, and I think it was rather intentional. And I told him in a very Christ-like way he could keep it, but I'll have my own. I do thank the Lord for His grace and His goodness. Great to be a part of the church. I tell churches, small churches, often that I go to in our conference these days that, it's wonderful to be a part of something that's bigger. And Satan wants us sometimes to think that it's just us. And you're a church of some substance and size, and so maybe you're not as tempted these days as you might have been in earlier days when you wondered at times if the ship would float or if it would survive or sink. And sometimes it gets to feeling a little small. But even in our conference, I remind little churches that in the Heartland Conference alone, that every Sunday, as you walk into the doors of your church, you're gathering with about 2,000 other Heartland Conference Bible Methodists alone in the States, just our conference. That makes it feel different, doesn't it? You add to that the 3 conferences of our connection of churches, and boy, that number starts jumping. You add that to our missions organizations in the Philippines and Mexico and Asia and South Africa, places around the world, and suddenly it's doubling and tripling and quadrupling, and suddenly you realize, whoa. Then you bring in all of the independent churches and other churches and organizations. We'll even include the Friends. We'll gladly let them come in, at least part-timers. And you realize that God's church is mighty. It's good to be a part of something big. We know the majority of the world isn't going this way, but my friend, it's a whole lot bigger than we ever give it credit for. The Church of Jesus Christ tonight is alive and well. Amen. And I choose to link with that church. It is such a delight to be here. It's good to see David and Leah Fulton, and what a delight. I went to school with David. He cheated a lot, but it was great to go to school with him. He's a lot older than me, as you can tell, and but he married up, and it's great to have Leah. I still remember your daddy, and a great man. and great man. And wonderful, appreciate the work that Brother Fulton does. Do you know they helped Randolph break 200 this morning? Was it Randolph? Yes. That's Jonathan Edwards' church over there, out there in no man's land. So isn't that great? I hope they didn't put their tithe in there. But anyway, we want them to come back. And that's wonderful. And it's great to be with Brother Mark Mowry and his wife. And Brother Mowry, you're an amazing man.
Sure. Amen.
Would you tell him that tonight? Would you just express it to him? Would you just let him know? Sister Mowry. Love you, Sister Mowry. I'll never forget the noodles. Just a Bible college kid riding on the back of a motorcycle on a Saturday. We were bummed out. And Craig Line and I made a trip over here to Frankfurt because we knew we might get a little hospitality, a little cheer, and we got a hot meal. I don't even think we let you know we were coming. Probably didn't. Probably just showed up. And we got a hot meal and a lot of funny stories and a little bit of love, and here we are today. And Brother Mowry, you're an amazing example.
Amen.
An amazing example. So thank you for all you've done. And I got to park in your spot this morning. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Take that. I took a picture of it with my phone. I did. It'll go on Facebook. It will. Look where I was. Pastor Emeritus. Emeritus. So, well deserved. Well deserved. Good to be with Seth and Heidi. And Heidi, just with your daddy this week. And I told him I'd bring greetings from him to you. And the Davises are part of the Great Lakes Conference as well. And just thanks to everybody. Across the back, I know you're an independent church, but if you'd ever change your mind about that, just call me. That's all I'll say. And across the back, well, you really got tight on me right there, did you? Woo! I learned my lesson. I got it loud and clear. Put it on the PowerPoint. Let Cravens know. That's it. Just stick with the pastors, buddy. Okay. Across the back of the church, there are some magazines. How many of you get our magazine? Raise your hand. Okay, there's several of you that do. And I was not aware. I'm a rookie, so I was not aware that we should send subscription papers to some of the independent churches, and because many of you get multiple papers and you get ours, and so that's my fault that Pastor Fry does not have those subscriptions, but I will get that to him, and then you can sign up at your leisure however you wish, those of you who wish to receive the Bible Methodist. And it's a great paper. You can see samples of it. The issue is the latest one, just come out, and it's honoring the Sams for their 16 years conference leadership. Prior to me, it's on there, some of the transition camp meeting photos, a lot of stuff, a lot of pictures in that one. You can just pick it up, look at it, pass it around. If you want to take it, I have more. You can take one, I don't care. But share them, and you can look at some of those pictures and see a little bit about what the magazine looks like. And maybe I'll leave a couple of them here for you, Pastor Fry. Thank you for the wonderful meal this afternoon. Wonderful, Sister Sarah. You did such an amazing job. But whoever else, she basically said she did it all. So I don't even the pies. She fixes amazing pie. No, and she tried to act humble, and the others that helped over here, and we know who helped. Thank you so much. Beautiful meal, and thank you for everything. I'm looking forward to the relationship that we'll build in the annual visit. I'm excited about this, and be able to come and get better acquainted over the years as the Lord allows and permits. And so thank you so much for letting your pastors do that and making me feel welcome and to be able to come in, be a part of your fellowship. I want to make two comments before you go. One, they're not even connected. But I've been wrestling with a passage, and Brother Craig Dowler, you triggered me tonight, out of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and then I'm going to leave you with a verse out of John 17. So you could just listen or you can trust me. I'm doing something very daring because I've never unwrapped this publicly out of 1 Corinthians 13. It's just in my head, so I'm just going to make a couple comments. Pastor Fry maybe can help me with some of the hermeneutics of this after a while when we chat. I think we pretty much understand the love chapter. It's pretty self-explanatory. And as I just turned 48 years old Friday, and so I'm on the back half. I'm starting the back half of my life. I don't imagine I'll hit 90. I don't know. I don't anticipate that. Who knows? We all wonder, who knows. But probably won't. Jesus tarries. And so I wonder, everybody who has played a little bit of golf, called it Cowpasture Pool back in the day, a little bit of golf, knows that it's an 18-hole game. You can play 9 or you can play 18. I don't play much at all. I haven't played in about 4 years, actually. But usually you play 9 holes of golf, and then you tally your score, and you see how you're doing, and then you consider what's called the back half, which is the last 9. There's the first half, and there's the back half. And every good golfer wants to analyze his game. It tallies up his score. Golf is really a game against yourself. Right. You're trying to just, beat your score. You want to, really, 4 guys can play and not even be competitively playing against each other. But the real competition is just trying to better yourself, better your game. And every good golfer who's interested in the game at all will always, at the end of the first 9, the front 9, will tally up his score if he hasn't already. He will pause, maybe get a cold drink, a little Gatorade or water, in case you're wondering. And he'll consider the back 9. Because he wants to play the back 9 better than the front 9. That's right. He wants to end better. In fact, sometimes you get to the 18th hole and there's a sign up. If you get a hole in one, you get a prize. Or if you hit par on this hole, you get some kind of prize. Because every golfer wants to go out at the top of his game. That's right. And there's a deep, rising longing in my heart. God, you've been merciful and good to me on the front 9. It's been a good journey. It's been amazing at times. But Lord, I want to go out at the top of my game. I've seen too many stumble, and I've seen too many disasters that just take your breath away. Moments that you can never pull back. You'd give 1,000 worlds if somehow the day could be lived over, if that decision could somehow be changed. And I pray, oh God, you've been good to me on the front 9. I want to end at the top of my game. What's that look like to the Lord? I'm reading in 1 Corinthians, we've heard, who am I? All of the songs tonight, the beautiful theme of this service that God has divinely orchestrated. And I realized that that there's this response to such grace that rises in the human heart. It's just, I want to respond to God's favor to me. I want to give it back. I want to somehow, and so service is a natural thing, right?
Right.
I want to serve you, Lord. I'll be there. You can count on me, Jesus. I'll help. And that's a natural rise and a response. Lord, I want to preach better. I want to sing better. I want to study a little more. I want to read a few more books. I want to be a little more disciplined with my time. Lord, I will, Lord, by your grace and your help. But you know there's a day coming when I will have preached my last sermon. And I can no longer offer it to him. There's a day coming when I will have sung my last song. The age has affected my tone, and I no longer can hold the pitch, and the range has shrunk. And I no longer can offer him what I have offered him over the years. There will come a day when my wife will graciously protect me from a live microphone. I'm going to laugh at you one of these days, Fulton. Hope I'm around to hear it. Truthful. What's my game going to look like then? Paul talks about, though I speak with the tongue of men and angels. He talks about the beauty and the excellency of prophesying and of speaking and of oratory. And though I give my body to be burned, all of these are incredible, wonderful things. And he talks about how it amounts to nothing if there is not love.
Right.
Agape. Divine love. And then I read that little tricky verse that says down there, for now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. Now abideth faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. And I think, what's that going to be like? I don't know whether I'll go to heaven off a bed in some little rented room somewhere down some cold corridor, or I'll go to bed quickly in or to heaven quickly in some tragedy, or however it is that I may leave this earth. I don't know how that may be, but if I live my life out, all of the gifts, all of the things that I have been able to offer to God, all of the service, all of the work days that I can give, all of that will one day, I will no longer offer those things. But there is one thing that he will know me by. My love. And when he walks into my room to usher me home, he's going to know me as I have been known. It's been about love all along. Yes. He knew the intent of my heart. Right. It wasn't about the perfection of the performance. He saw the motor behind it. He saw the intent behind it. He saw the love behind it. Look, I'm looking at a church, listen to me, that is a working, thriving, alive church. You're doing, you're busy, you're giving, you're active, but one by one you will retire from those things. One by one, the day will come as Jesus tarries when you'll have to surrender. What then? Listen, let me tell you about then. Then you will still be known as you've always been known, by the love in your heart for him.
Amen.
I'm going to know you. It's okay that you can't sing anymore. It was for a season. It's okay that the preaching is over. It was for a season. It's okay that you did well. You did fine. But what connects us isn't the gifts that you've given back to me, though I'm grateful for your stewardship of them, but your love. I'm going to know you. Whether you can't mumble a word. I've had them lying in bed, in their beds in nursing homes for months and never be able to mutter a word. only follow you with their eyes. And you know what? They didn't have to. God knew. God knew. And it's the hope that we have tonight. At the end of the day, when it's all over, we will be known by the love we've had for him. And truly it is the reciprocation of his own love for us. Amen. Oh, for grace to trust you more. Amen. He's going to know you because you loved him. So I'm done. Stand up, shake hands, and be dismissed. I'll see you next year.